What's up YouTube, Gemini Johnny back again with another compilation of creepy TikToks to make you question everything. Join me every Tuesday and Thursday for a brand new reaction video. Join the channel to get access to the members only Member Monday video. It's another reaction video just like this, but just exclusively for members. So yeah, shout out to all my Jimmies out there. My Jimmies! G-E-M-M-Y, you know, Big Johnny, but Jimmy. I'm Johnny, you're Jimmy. Johnny and the Jimmies. Oh, that's cute. Where was I? You can check out the merch store. I put some new designs in there. You might like them. Every time I think about it, that Katy Perry song gets stuck in my head. You'll figure it out. Everyone seems to be liking the conspiracy theory TikTok videos, so I might start doing those on Thursdays. And then creepy TikToks on Tuesdays. And don't forget about Sunday Scaries. I'm gonna start reading stories from around the internet. And hopefully at least once a month I can do subscriber submitted scary stories. But if you have an unexplained or scary story, write me and let me know about it. And maybe I'll use it in a future video. Throw my email right up there. I probably already got it. Or you can DM it to me on Instagram. I'll put the QR code right over here. Just scan it. I'm gonna leave that up for a minute because I am trying to grow my Instagram as well. And my TikTok. I'm into pretty much everything. I'm trying to grow them all, you know? So if you're into any of the other social medias, go find me at Gemini Johnny. I'm not gonna do QR codes for all of them, but there's Instagram. Now without further ado, let's jump right in.
Yo, coyote.
There it is.
Yeah, you're by yourself. They'll go after one person.
It's fucking right there.
I knew that fucking thing.
What the fuck? Oh fuck, bro. Yo! Can you grab that?
Careful. Guys! Go, 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 go. Go. Careful.
They knew what they were doing.
Careful. Get to the car.
Yo.
So,
What the f? Bro. Holy shit! Holy shit, man! Holy, roll down the windows.
What just happened?
Roll down the windows, let's listen, bro.
so nobody got
They
attacked.
straight up were hunting us,
Dude,
man.
they were hunting us down.
They were hunting us down.
Listen to that,
shit.
bro.
Hold on, be quiet.
I don't know about all that.
Colin, I grabbed your
surrounded
camera, but it's facing up now. I'm sorry.
Holy fuck. Dude.
Dude, I gotta move my seat back a little. Okay.
I didn't know there was that many.
That is gnarly.
I didn't know there was that many.
Army. There's an army of them, dude. Maybe they just found the body.
Yo, that gave me like a heart attack.
What?
Yeah, cause they started freaking screaming that way,
Bro,
and then out of nowhere they just all right
all
next
of
to
them,
us.
man. Dude, listening to that, there's like fucking like 10 that was just around us.
Literally, they literally surrounded us.
And they'll attack in a pack.
Holy
they will.
shit, dude.
They would have
Just by
easily
yourself, too,
sniped
dude.
us.
You could have got.
Honestly, bro, the first one came from right behind me, literally right after I came back to the car.
I did not think there was that many out here.
Dude,
We saw the one, but I mean, shit.
Bro,
let's go to the water.
right as we're getting great stuff.
Honestly.
That was scary.
Yo, that was honestly like...
I don't know what they expected.
What's up? These are some scary facts about space.
What's
Part
up,
one.
sweet?
If you were trying to live in space for a year, you better have the biggest supply of water. Because if you don't, you have to drink up to 730 liters of your recycled sweat and urine just to survive. Because water is very scarce in space. I'm gonna give it to you straight, black holes are terrifying as they are, but what if I told you that the biggest black hole that has ever been discovered in space weighs 40 billion times the mass of the sun? Imagine getting sucked into that black hole. If you have been in orbit in space for 30 days or more, chunks of your feet will begin to fall off while you are in orbit. That is terrifying. This is pretty terrifying, as it says in the Big Rip theory, which I don't necessarily believe, but it says that this dark energy will eventually, in about 1 billion years, make the Earth explode. We've barely even cracked the surface of research for space, so who's to say that aliens aren't real as well?
3 more creepy hidden rooms found in people's homes. Number 1, Reddit user Lumberjack shared jaw-dropping images of a small passageway he stumbled upon in his new home. Within the tiny space, he found an ominous-looking locked door which was hiding the entrance to a small room containing a briefcase and a safe. Inside these items were money, watches, and most strangely a series of videotapes. One of these was covered in writing which just repeated no over and over again. Number 2, a couple were starting to do renovations in their new home and to their surprise discovered a secret passageway behind a bookcase. Inside they found a note saying you found it, and it then went on to explain that there was a serious black mold problem in the house which caused the previous homeowners to leave. Number 3, one student got a nasty surprise when he moved into a house in New Mexico bought by his parents. At night he would hear banging noises coming from beneath the floor, and after some investigation he found a hidden door in the floor of the pantry leading to a hidden basement. Within it was a desk, working lights, and most creepily a recently smoked cigarette.
Nope. Time to move.
This is what would happen if you were tickled for 24 hours straight.
Okay, we all know this wouldn't be fun, but it's not like it could kill you, right?
That's actually wrong. Getting tickled for 24 hours straight can actually cause a handful of complications.
You can lose the ability to regulate your breathing.
Also, your blood pressure can get so high you could pass out. And what's even worse, you could even have a heart attack.
Believe it or not, but in ancient China, they used tickling as a form of torture because it made the victim suffer, but it didn't leave any marks.
And if you're very sensitive to being tickled, you could even die from asphyxiation, not to mention the stomach pain you will be having from your ab muscles being activated for so long.
So no matter what you do, don't try this at home.
So I woke up this morning and look at that fog. On a regular day, you should be able to see some of the London skyline, but this fog is thick. So I thought today was a good a day as any to tell you about the time London was choked by a killer smog, an unprecedented disaster that killed at least 10,000 people and injured over 100,000. In the winter of 1952, a perfect storm of really cold air and an anti-cyclone which trapped all coal, smoke, and car exhaust at ground level. Now, London was famously foggy and polluted, but this was very different. A thick black and yellow lethal fog grew thicker and thicker over 5 days. Visibility was less than 1 meter. Everyone was effectively blinded, and they couldn't escape because the clouds seeped indoors as well. There was very little oxygen, and many suffered from hypoxia and exacerbated respiratory infections. Public transport and ambulance services stopped, and driving a car was impossible, meaning you had to walk blindly to a hospital. But when the smog finally cleared, there were thousands found suffocated in their homes. Today, London's a lot cleaner, and this morning's fog was just fog. But on mornings like this, and in old houses like mine, people say that you can still hear them.
I'm still hovering around 70% of viewers now subscribe to my channel. That's so wild to me. Appreciate you watching. But yeah, sub up. It's free and it makes me feel good. Plus, you never want to miss a video. We just went over my schedule, but I drop random videos sometimes too. So hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, all those fun things. Appreciate you.
To uphold the very law that he issued, he had to die by his own knife. In the early 5th century BC, Charondas, a Greek lawgiver, issued a law in which anyone who brought weapons into the assembly must be put to death. He made the fatal mistake of entering the assembly while a knife was still attached to his belt. In order to uphold the law that he issued, he carried out his own sentence and killed himself using his own knife.
Disturbing stalkers caught on camera. This scary video was uploaded to YouTube by CBS Sacramento in 2021 and shows an interview with a woman who is terribly worried about her family's safety because of an alleged stalker who has been appearing at their door for weeks. The man in question has been caught on camera several times by the doorbell security camera. In each shot, the mysterious man can be seen knocking insistently, saying he is from social services and that he needs to get into the house to do a checkup.
Social services. Yeah, my social services. You need to leave.
Tell him.
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 22. In 1945, a fire broke loose on the ship on the left. The men on the right are firefighters attempting to extinguish it. Moments later, it detonated one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in history. 468 people died and over 5,000 were injured. This abstract art was painted by cult leader Charles Manson, who convinced his followers to kill 9 people in Los Angeles in 1969. This is the last photo ever taken of Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. The girl on the left, wearing flowers, hugged him, detonating a bomb which killed him and the photographer. In 2018, Tamla Horsford went to a sleepover with some friends to watch football and party. There were 7 white women and 3 men at the party in Georgia. And the next morning, Tamla was found dead face down in the backyard. The case was ruled an accident, but in light of recent events, it has thankfully been reopened.
Yeah, that's messed up. Seen
I
that one.
had never heard of this before, so I want to know, have you guys heard of the true story of Midnight Mary? On October 15th of 1872, Mary Hart suddenly just dropped dead. Now, what's specific to this story was that she was pronounced gone at exactly midnight, and they buried her in the Evergreen Cemetery located in New Haven, Connecticut. Something was very wrong. All of her relatives had these extreme nightmares where they would hear Mary screaming as if they could hear it from underground. These nightmares actually became so bad for the family that they exhumed the body, which is when they found the most shocking part of the story: scratch marks from inside her casket. She had accidentally been buried alive. So the legend has it that she continues to roam the grounds of this cemetery in hatred of the world that falsely buried her when she was still living. Those who speak her name or even hear of the story seem to summon her. And if you're ever at her grave beyond midnight, the legend has it that you'll die very soon after.
Okay, if you're in Connecticut, I want you to go check that grave out for me. But do not go... Wait, after midnight? Isn't everything after midnight, technically? Or is it like after midnight until sunrise? Or is it like after midnight until noon? Like noon to 11:59, you're good to go? I'm just curious, what are the logistics here?
There is a place on Earth where you're not allowed to die. This place is called Longyearbyen, and dying here has been illegal since the 1950s due to its long history. This place is located on the Arctic archipelago of Svalbard, and it is always cold. There is a very thick layer of permafrost below the ground, which means when you bury people here, their bodies cannot decompose. The reasoning behind these rules was officially backed in the 1990s, when scientists found out that the body of a human who had passed in 1918 from influenza still contained the virus fully preserved. And if the frost were to melt here, this would pose a huge threat to the Svalbard population. Cremated burials are still allowed here, but you can't do it without a state license. When somebody is terminally ill, they must leave the island and fly to the Norwegian mainland to live out their final days.
Wild. Why? There are some places in this world that it seems like Mother Nature is begging you not to live there, and people choose to live there anyway. And I know it's not as simple as just leaving, but also kinda is.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life.
No!
Closed in 1963, Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary is the most famous prison in the United States. Many of the nation's most notorious criminals were imprisoned there. The most famous prison in the UK, the Tower of London, was home to some of the most notable prisoners in history and was active from the 12th to 20th centuries. The English ruling class oppressed many people for hundreds of years, and today the tower is said to be haunted by those victims. For 100 years, French Guiana's Devil's Island was home to various prisoners, from many of Napoleon's enemies to hardened criminals. The island was known for its incredibly harsh conditions and for being rife with disease. The French were pretty good, it seems, at holding prisoners. As if prisons weren't enough, they created the oubliette, a specialized dungeon beneath a trapdoor out of reach to those under it. Derived from the word oublier, meaning to forget, the dungeon was a narrow passageway large enough only for the confines of a standing body, which allowed the prisoners to wallow away to their death. Comment below which fact disturbed you.
I ain't gonna lie, I only caught about 20% of those because it's hard for me to pay attention to those AI voices, to the like AI narration voices. In a couple years, those are gonna be really good. They're gonna be indistinguishable from just a regular person reading. But I would like to go to Alcatraz. That's on the bucket list. Film some content there, try to do some coverage of it. It's a super interesting story. Those 3 guys that escaped. Do you guys have any good theories on those guys? I think the Costa Rica thing, was it Costa Rica? There was somewhere where there was a picture of them allegedly years and years later. And I remember watching a video about a guy that went there to try to find the exact spot. And he used like locations, and I don't know what he used, I don't remember, but he supposedly found the exact spot. I think they probably made it down there. I think they made it and got away. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
3 most brutal dictators. Number 1, Idi Amin. Idi Amin was the self-declared president of Uganda. He became known as the Butcher of Uganda. This is because he killed people by feeding them to crocodiles, claimed he was a cannibal, and even mutilated one of his own wives and rearranged her limbs. Number 2, Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was the dictator of Iraq from 1979 to 2003. During his reign, he authorized countless attacks on people. These included chemical attacks, eye gougings, beatings, and other brutal attacks. Number 3, Pol Pot. Pol Pot was the leader of the Khmer Rouge who carried out the Cambodian genocide. He wanted to create a classless agrarian society. As Prime Minister from 1976 to 1979, his policies led to the deaths of 2 million people, approximately 25% of the whole population.
Real knuckleheads. They're lucky I wasn't around, because that wouldn't have gone down like that had I been there.
These are the creepiest things found in people's houses, part 3. Up first, this person found a creepy room in a hidden crawl space in their new home.
We just saw
this. But the creepy thing is, the crawl space contained a safe with a lot of scary things, like a video camera, videotapes, jewelry, watches, and even a note that said save yourself. The homeowner believes these are items belonging to a serial killer because of the camera, the videotapes, and the jewelry that they think belongs to the victims. This is extremely terrifying, and I would immediately move out. Up next, a contractor bought an abandoned house to rebuild when he suddenly went in the basement and saw this in the toilet. I wonder why the previous homeowners had this creepy doll head stuffed into a toilet in the basement. So what would you do if you saw this in a new house you just bought?
Sorry, hope that thing ain't haunted. Gonna come back and haunt me with that stupid toilet face. I wanna know what's on those tapes. How's that person gonna post a TikTok so that everybody can know about their tapes and then not tell us what's on the tapes? Maybe they're still producing what's on the tapes, because, you know, like 95% of stuff on the internet is probably fake. But if it's not, I wanna know what's on the tapes. But yeah, if I found dude, I've checked my place for secret rooms and stuff, and we don't have any. But if I found a secret room with tapes of some sort, I would immediately find or buy a tape player for whatever that is, and a converter so I could make them digital. It would drive me absolutely insane until I received the tape player and could watch those tapes. It's driving me crazy now. I want to know what's on those tapes.
The dance that kills. During July of 1518, in a small town in France, a single woman started dancing. It was infectious and got other people dancing. Most people were having a great time until someone realized they couldn't stop. After the entirety of the crowd realized no one could stop, they were dancing with tears. Day after day, more people would join and never stop. Not to eat, not to sleep, not even to relieve themselves. In turn, killing themselves from exhaustion. At the peak of the dance plague, 400 people were dancing in the town center, and 15 people were dying daily of exhaustion, only stopping after their death. The whole thing only ended after everyone was gathered up and strapped down in a hospital. It was subsequently blamed on the devil, and while unbelievable at first, modern theories suggest this plague was possible by accidentally eating ergot fungi, which grew on their rye bread. Ergot being similar to lysergic acid diethylamide, more commonly known as LSD-25. And if you don't believe that to be enough, the other theory is mass psychogenic illness, also known as mass hysteria, due to things like death, disease, starvation, and negative superstitions being daily occurrences.
Yeah, I know all about that one. And I was going to say exactly what he said there at the end. It was believed to either be the ergot poisoning or the mass hysteria. Super interesting stuff. Either way, no matter what it was, it's wild what humans will do, especially mob mentality and like groupthink. I think it's a really not misunderstood, but understood thing. And I don't know, I think there's a lot of power in it. And I think when it's put to good use, like most things that have a lot of power, I think when it's put to good use, there's a lot of good that can be done there. But something like that, yeah, wild. Have you guys ever heard of that story before? And do you have any theories on it? Because I lean towards the ergot poisoning. I think that would make sense. Or maybe you always hear those jokes like if you showed this or gave Doritos to a 1400s villager, they would die immediately or whatever. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe a time traveler went back and gave them all Doritos. I know that's dumb.
The men in black are real.
Facts.
For decades, people have reported encountering these strange men after they witness a UFO. In many cases, they show up at witnesses' houses in vintage black cars to ask bizarre and intimidating questions. There's also something strange about them, as they appear to void facial features, or are often sickly pale, and act almost robotic with their movements. It's said that these are either government agents, or aliens trying to cover up UFO activity. That is why many believe.
There's a show called Fringe, and they have a Men in Black type of character in it, and they're called The Watchers. I think that's what they were called. It's on Amazon Prime, so, you know, if you have Prime, you can go watch that. Speaking of which, if you want a 30-day free trial to Audible, you can check the link at the bottom of the description of this video. I don't really talk about it, but it's always in the bottom of my videos, and if you've never used Audible before, you can go try it for free. So I love audiobooks, and I use my Audible app almost every day, so yeah, go check it out. But Fringe is a really good show, and yeah, they have their Men in Black guy, and I think it's a really interesting take on it. Like, maybe they're not a government entity, maybe they're more of like a universal entity, and they're just like watchers. They're probably aliens. They seem like aliens. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Men in Black? Because there's been many cases of them existing, like where people talking about them. So it's definitely a thing that's out there. I just don't know what it is or what they are, you know?
Can you tell a place has a dark history just from looking at it?
Yep.
In this series, I'm showing you some photos so you can see. And I cover all sorts of spooky and true crime stuff on this page to follow along.
My family was murdered there.
This is the Wisconsin home of Ed Gein, also known as the Butcher of Plainfield. There's actually very few photos of this house that are in any way appropriate to share because of the nature of his crimes. It was in this house that Ed taught himself taxidermy after his mother passed away. And it was the local cemetery where he would go to rob graves and practice what he had learned. This is the room that Ed's mother lived in.
Jeez.
And after she passed away, he had it completely sealed off and never touched it. This is in part why the movie Psycho was based on Ed Gein. Ed's mother would tell him all these crazy things, like that women were all guilty of lust and they were just sent to tempt men, which is why many people think that he specifically hated women. And you might be thinking that these photos were taken years after he was out of the house, maybe it had been abandoned for a while, but no, these are the conditions that Ed would live in. When robbing graves wasn't enough for Ed, he moved on to taking people's lives. And to this day, no one's definitively sure how many lives he took. But there's a real darkness to these photos, and if you're brave enough to look up the other ones online, you can see how disturbed the person living there actually was.
Yeah. I made the mistake of looking those photos up when I was young, when I was like a teenager. I don't recommend doing that. Yeah, he was real messed up. Yeah, I won't even go into details because I don't know how much of that I could even say in a YouTube video. But, you know, maybe go look it up yourself if you want. Don't look up the pictures. Don't look at the photos. Just, you know, go look at his Wikipedia page. That's probably pretty safe.
What is the government so afraid of? The U.S. Navy sets off a 40,000-pound bomb in the Atlantic Ocean, 100 miles from the coast of Florida, saying that it was only a military exercise. However, looking at the footage of the explosion, it definitely didn't seem like a regular military exercise. Furthermore, it's known that there are unknown creatures or aliens living deep in the ocean. So, could it be possible that it wasn't a military exercise, but a cover-up to take out a deadly threat in the ocean? With this suspicious military exercise, many are asking,
could be. I hadn't thought of that, but I have seen that video of the explosion before, and it is wild. It's a big explosion. It's a big boom boom. Why would you do it 30 miles off the coast of Florida? That's my question. Why not go out into the middle of the ocean and do that?
These are the scariest moments captured on live streams, part 3. Okay, so this streamer named Rubsy captured paranormal activity live on his stream. And it's absolutely terrifying. Just imagine living alone and this happens to you. There's something about stuff like this that's just insanely creepy.
Why would you start the clip there? Ew.
Dude, the light, you just turned it off and it went back on? What the fuck?
Nope. Reaction seemed pretty legit. I'll give him that. I heard the name, but I forgot it already. Didn't you know that streamer? I also don't really watch streamers, or like game streamers and stuff. But yeah, if any of you watch that streamer, let me know who that was. I wonder if he's still doing the damn thing. Speaking of streaming, would you guys, if I ever started playing video games again, would you watch me play like horror video games? Like Dead or Alive, and I don't know. I'd have to look up what the best horror games are. I really got into them because they scare me. But it is kind of, I did start playing Left 4 Dead. What was, was it Resident Evil? Yeah, Resident Evil. I think I started playing Resident Evil before I sold my last Switch because I had to pay bills. And it was fun, but it would be more fun to stream, I feel like, and have people following along in the chat. And that might be something I want to do, you know, as another addition to this channel in the future. So, you know, if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. I'll make it happen. But there you have it, folks. That is another compilation of creepy TikToks in the books. We did it, we done it. we're doing it some more. If you enjoy this kind of content, be sure and check out my TikToktober series playlist or my 25 Days of Creepy playlist from October and December, but it's another 56 days of reactions, so if you missed those, go check them out. And when you do, tell me the biggest differences you notice in those videos in this video today. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. New schedule shaking out to look like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 4:15, and members only videos meant for member Mondays, also at 4:15. So I hope to see you at all of them. Come hang out in the chat. If you have a creepy or unexplained story you'd like to share and potentially be in a future video, just send it on over to my email right up here for you. Or you can just DM it. If you don't have anything to DM, feel free to follow me over there. Or follow me anywhere. Gemini Jonny. Whatever you like on social media. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I don't really use it, but you know, Threads. I'm Gemini Jonny on everything. Just go find me. And until next time, stay creepy.